So I just had a third person this morning ask me, how do you get a book published? So I thought, well, maybe that's a curiosity that's out there. Maybe you have a book inside you that's partway written or is still an idea. So I'll give you my itty bitty experience, since this is my first book, and I definitely have not been around the block in the publishing industry, so I can just give you my tips and tricks. So my book was actually born out of a bunch of recordings. I had recorded the Heal What Hurts process during COVID. Before COVID, I taught it in person. And then during COVID, I decided to record the whole thing and make it a little more structured, the steps and how you go through them. And out of that, I transcribed all that and started editing it. So if I had ever thought, well, I'm just going to write a 200-page book, I don't even think it's quite 200 pages, but nevertheless, I think that would have been overwhelming to try and structure that. I write shorter magazine, newspaper pieces and have in my life, but something that big would have felt intimidating, I think. So that was how it worked for me, was to just kind of freestyle on these different parts that comprise the Heal What Hurts method and then transcribe it. So that was how it kind of became a book. And then I had an editor help me. I was just going to have her kind of help me polish it enough to self-publish. And she's the one who said, I think we could try to submit this. And so we did, and they said yes. And at that point she had helped me kind of polish 2 or 3 chapters, where they were like really good, and she'd done the line by line. And based on that, they actually accepted and gave me a contract. And then it was on me to do that with the whole book. And that was actually a lot of work. And if I had not had that contract, kind of like you promised us, I might not have completed that. But I got that done. And even now it's going through multiple editing processes. There's 3 editors that work on the book. There's the initial acquisition editor, and then there's someone who kind of visions it, and then there's going to be the proofreading. So what a publisher will do for you is pretty tremendous. They will really take your book kind of to the next level, but you also end up paying for that, because they end up taking the lion's share of what the book will make. And then the gift to you, especially as a first-time author, is that you get your name out there in a bigger way. So if anybody wants to hear more about that, you're welcome to message me and I can tell you more. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. They also print a limited amount in the beginning to kind of see if the book takes off. And then, there'll be second prints or third prints or whatever. So I just keep holding the vision that a method that has been tremendously healing for me, continues to be really healing for me and for clients that work with me and groups that work with me, that I can now get that out in a wider way. So if even a person out there picks up the book and says, wow, there's a common denominator here in how my emotional triggers show up, and it's kind of a broken record, it's been happening my whole life, and maybe there's something in me that I'm playing out, maybe there's a wounded part of me that keeps kind of repeating itself as a projected experience, that's already the first step to freedom. And I think that's what spiritual practice is ultimately about. It's becoming free of how your own programming meets you through other people and then feels like you're kind of going at it with someone else, rather than see, wow, this person is showing up perfectly according to my beliefs and patterns, and I can change it under the hood from the inside out. That doesn't mean it's easy, but at least you're applying the effort where the effort really needs to be applied. So hope that's helpful for anybody out there with a book in them. I say go for it. Whatever you have to express creatively in the world, go for it, go for it, go for it. That is my recommendation more than anything.